could very well be in a situation where you walk down Park Avenue and you see a stylish persona across the street and you just look at him, okay? And then the entire outfit, you're gonna see yourself in it, all the way from shoes to accessories in a virtual fitting room. And you would say, yeah, I want it.
Welcome to the Ready, Set, Click podcast, where we talk digital marketing strategies. Grab a coffee or something a little stronger and settle in for this episode.
Hello and welcome to the Ready, Set, Click podcast. I'm your host, Paul Kahn. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Oren Inditzky, who's the VP and GM of online stores at Wix. Welcome, Oren.
Thank you very much, Paul. It's really great to be here.
We're excited to have you. And this guy over here, Kevin Cruzy, founder and co-CEO at Upfluence. Welcome, Kevin.
A regular. Yeah.
A regular.
Thank you, Paul.
There you go. Well, we're tremendously excited today to talk about some of the emerging and exciting trends in e-commerce. And Oren, I want to start with you. Like, what are some of the things that you're seeing people doing right now that is really interesting to you?
Yeah, so I think we are right now at a very exciting moment in e-commerce. Obviously, it's around AI, both in terms of how the future is going to look like. And everyone's trying to figure that out. Some are excited, some are threatened, some are worried. We can potentially talk about this today. And also the pace of innovation, like the stuff merchants can do tomorrow morning is truly amazing. And if we would have that conversation a week from now, at least it would go longer and longer and capabilities would be better. So really exciting time around AI.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You said something very interesting. It's a transition time, right? Every transition time is a time of great opportunity, but also great peril. So let's first talk about like where the opportunity lies with AI.
So I think the first thing that it provides, and let's talk about it from the merchant side and then from the buyer side. So I think from the merchant side, capabilities that used to be reserved only for enterprise, giant e-commerce that we all know and use are now being democratized. So prior to Wix, I used to work for Expedia, and we had huge teams working on very advanced algorithms that were our secret sauce. These days, many of those capabilities are being democratized as we speak, and now they could be used by anyone who wants to start a business. So that's super exciting. I think on the other hand, for buyers, that means that the entire experience is gradually becoming more and more hyper-personalized. So you get what you're looking for, they understand your context, the experience becomes better, and overall friction between intent and you actually holding a product that you're happy with is being shrinked.
Okay, so and that democratization moment is very interesting because, you know, one could argue that the rise of AI is the biggest revolution since the rise of the internet at first, right? So it's in a certain sense the biggest change since e-commerce was invented.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think what people can do right now is, on one hand, not to get what I call FOMA, so fear of missing AI, because there's so much noise happening today. Every other day you hear about some new innovation. So you want to stay on top of it, but not get too worried if you missed the news yesterday night. On the other hand, do not sit on the fence and miss that train, because by the time you start realizing how to use it, others that would be AI first, that are the newcomers, just use AI, would bypass you. So, you know, there's this slight balance if you staying ahead of what's going on, not being too fearful, but knowing, I think, where the trends are coming and how it can really help you.
All right. So let's talk about, like, you know, you talk about context. I like context because context is key for everybody. If someone's listening today and they have an e-com store that they have been running, what are some of the ideas that you think could be helpful for them in terms of understanding buyer context in a deeper way and helping buyers find what they need?
Yeah. So I think there are already today many capabilities that are available to merchants that they can use on Monday morning. Many of them are available on the Wix platform, but again, it's something that you can find in various different ways. So I think several things that we see really helping merchants as we speak are, I would say I can basically divide them to two different areas. So the headlines queen from the past year or two is definitely Gen AI, tremendous opportunities. Then there's this other section of AI, which is advanced machine learning algorithms that are basically allowing you to adapt the store in real time and provide that hyper-personalization. So a few examples that we can talk about. So we all remember how difficult it is to establish a new brand. or just go through a brand refresh. So that means endless brainstorming involving a lot of professionals back and forth. So today on the Weeks platform, you can just have AI bring the best name for your business for you. Given your audience, your goals, your geo, you can even find the matching domain and even design a logo for you. So back in the days, that meant that by the time you start thinking about your brand and establishing your store, a lot of time has passed. Right now, you can do it within a matter of minutes.
And does that take into account, because I know one of the big issues with branding is, hey, wait a second, you named yourself this. There's some guy in Omaha, Nebraska who actually has that name, has it patented. So are the AIs also helping with those pieces of compliance and all of that
Yeah,
part?
well, the good ones do.
Mhm.
I cannot guarantee that anyone in the market would provide that, but we do try to do that with our tools because one of the things that it does, it also recommends you a domain for your business. So when it recommends a domain, it searches around basically the entire World Wide Web, if this one already exists or not, and it basically does a reverse. Because we all know how first usually started with a brand and then went around to buy that domain. Because it's internet first today, we do it the other way around. So we look for the right domain name for you, the right branding. We match it with your audience, the geo, your goals, and then also you get a logo on top of it as a bonus.
Well, and you mentioned internet first, but I also know that, it's really mobile first,
Yeah.
then to internet, then to everything else,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So how is AI changing the way that the mobile experience is for the vast majority of e-commerce customers?
So I don't see major changes right now with mobile.
Mhm.
It just means that it knows way more about the buyer. Because when it was desktop only, so way less internet time was unlocked.
Mhm.
With mobile devices, and pretty soon with AR headsets, more and more internet time is being locked, meaning that more and more of our action, whether we like it or not, are being recorded, are being analyzed. Context around us is being understood. So on one hand, we lose some privacy for sure, but on the other hand, once you go and take an action, that context is being translated to a way more personalized experience for you. So you get way more relevant things. Other things we can do around AI, it's maybe more capabilities that exist today, but also maybe, hey, so how do we think e-commerce would look like? And that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
guesstimating, but it could be an interesting conversation of like trying to guess how it's going to look like.
What changes?
Yeah, like how it would look, but also what available is today. So whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the areas that I'm seeing you talking about is there are mountains of data. And when you're talking about the democratization, part of what you're doing is you're giving a full data analysis team to almost every brand that's out there.
Yeah, and even the small ones. And I think there was a big, data revolution not too long ago. And every company out there competed who has the best dashboards, who provide you the best charts. But then the small business merchant just sits in front of it and says, okay, so what? What should I do with it? And I think this is the most important thing in data. So how it can inform you making the right decisions and getting the right insights from all those fancy charts and numbers. And a great example for this is just not too long ago, we launched a merchant assistant, which we always had, for example, an analytics page with fancy charts and fancy numbers. But now you can actually talk to that agent and say, okay, so what can I learn from it? What can I do with it? What does this chart means? How are the recent trends? And they can analyze that for you and provide you with those insights without you needing to do all these, difficult understanding by yourself.
Right. And on a certain level, you can have at least a really good draft of what to do. Right.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
that's the one piece
Yeah,
that
there's
I'm
no
finding.
guarantee, but you have someone to bounce idea with,
Right.
someone who probably knows and can analyze amounts of numbers that no human can do. So it definitely takes, one-man show, two-man show, three-man show to the level of what used to be only reserved for enterprises.
Right.
That's, again, the democratization, I think, that AI provides individuals and small businesses.
That's actually something I see too in our business in the creator space. I feel like the biggest gain from our customers is actually just operational, right? It's like a lot of people think about just super complex data analysis, stuff like this. But at the end of the day, just the ability to just not have to write content or just like upkeep your website the same way for us with creators, super impactful. Like the operational efficiencies is what actually AI is used for by our clients the most, like sending an email, right? Something super simple like this,
Definitely.
but you do it 100 times a week. So that actually saves a ton of time. So I
I
think I
agree.
agree with you. It's like sometimes the smaller things, quote unquote,
Yeah,
actually end up being more impactful.
for sure. And I think speaking about social media, so we know for a fact, and this is why we're all here together and working together, is that 90% of buyers today engage with social media one way or another as part of their purchase process. Now, merchants are left with this notion of how can you even generate so much content to even stay in that game. So back in the days, you need to have an idea to come up with tone of voice, vibe you want to generate, but then there's the actual operational work of generating those posts. So now we have an AI agent for social media creation. And in many cases, you just need to bounce with ideas, what your brand is about, what are your goals, which audiences, and then it generates those for you. And I'm talking about text, visuals, and even videos.
Do they make memes? We're big on memes here at Upfluence.
Actually, I have a question for you, Oren.
Yeah.
Do you believe that AI fundamentally benefits SMBs more than it benefits large companies just because it evens the playing field?
I think so. On one hand, I think enterprises would get access to stuff, and that's always the case, that individuals and smaller businesses would not get. But in terms of like bridging that gap, I think AI brings smaller businesses way higher and I think narrows the gap. Because think about the situation that we have today. Back in the days, marketing, you needed to have money for a billboard on Times Square. Now you find the right influencer and you can go viral. Back in the days, you needed a huge team of data analysis to get some insights from data. You needed huge algorithmic teams to generate the ability for you to show the right product for the right user at the right time. And it goes on and on and on and on. So it seems like if you have a good idea, if you're ambitious, if you're consistent, if you're willing to put the hard work in, and you're willing to compete, you have way better tools today to actually execute on this.
Yeah, I agree. And I really see that as being more impactful for like my smaller, nimble clients than for the big Goliath, right? The big companies that still need to figure out how to implement it. There is all the roadblocks around like Paul, you discuss privacy, stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
This is not going to be an issue for
Yeah, and-
SMB. They don't care.
Yeah, but it's also, it is, and maybe I'm thinking of this too old school, but it is Amazon versus Barnes and Noble once again, where you have the companies that have been making money the way they've been making money for 20 years, 25 years. And they're like, I don't want to rock that boat too much. And it's going to be the smaller guy who comes in and says, I'm going to go with this and utilize it. That's going to be more careful because the bigger people have more to lose. That's the other piece with AI. Like if AI makes a mistake, you're an SMB, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
If AI makes a mistake and you're a big enterprise company, we hear about every time a Waymo car crashes, right? We wouldn't hear about it if it was Jack's car service kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know that Jack would get permission to do it. I don't know who Jack is in this case.
Yeah, I agree. It's like it evens the playing field a little bit.
Yeah. So in terms of that, so if you were starting a new business today, right? Or maybe you started your business 6 months ago. So, you don't have to deal with all of the thought process. How much would you personally think we should be investing into AI as an e-commerce company?
Okay, I think the short answer is a lot. But on the other hand, we need to remember that the fundamentals haven't changed. So you still need to think about distribution, a great product, who's your audience, what's your unique value proposition. So these things, the classic KPIs, these things are not going to change. But I think the distance from you having an idea at home, actually executing and starting a new business is just shrink to almost nothing. So for example, if you have a great idea for, a great brand, okay, and you can easily create a store right now because that's been democratized a while ago with our capabilities or any other platform capabilities. And then drop shipping exists, so you don't even need to put the money up front. And then influencer marketing exists, so you do not need to put a lot of money up front for marketing. And now you have all those capabilities to use AI, for example, to generate your brand. We talked about it. For content on your website, creating product descriptions took a lot of time yesterday. We have a capability right now in-house where you just answer a few questions about your product and it generates professional looking product descriptions that were optimized by our in-house experts also for search engine optimization. What about visuals? Back in the days, you needed to have big budgets to go for large production days. Today, on Wix, you just describe what you're looking to have as images around your website. And with a click of a button, you get studio-like capabilities. Same thing, product photography. So if, for example, I want to start a business with you and sell those amazing coffee cups.
They're great.
Yeah, they're pretty good, actually,
They're
even though
really
it became
nice.
cold a little bit. So, so you needed to take those to some very lengthy and expensive production days. Today, we have tools. You snap a photo with your phone, 2 clicks, you have a professional pack shot. So all those things that took a lot of time and a lot of budget are now being removed. So it's way less risk, it's way less time, and I think way more encouragement for people that are listening to us to, hey, if you have a dream, go and try it. Way less risk, way less budget.
Okay, so I have one question because there's also the dark side. And I'm not talking about like Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which of course is in the back of my mind occasionally, but what I mean is the sameness. So I work in a business, I'm sure you've seen this. Every email from everybody that's a cold email looks exactly the same now. It's like, it obviously scraped your LinkedIn. It did this, it did that. It's like, hey, I hope you're a fan of X team. I am too. Click this link, right?
A lot of dashes too.
A lot of dashes, a lot of like tilt or weird. So what are the
weird emojis?
Yeah, weird emojis.
I never know those exist until AI came out. Yeah.
So,
The double sword.
yeah, exactly. And so you have this. So yes, there's democratization, but how do you, once everybody has access to these same tools, right? How do you still find a way to stand out from the crowd? Like, what are e-commerce companies doing to stand out? Because if everyone has access to the same tools, the sameness is going to be there.
Yeah. So I think it's back to the fundamentals. You need to really think good about the distribution. Okay, so how you're going to distribute your product. What's your audience? I think even before you think what your product is, because I've seen so many companies and products fail not because of a bad product, but because they didn't think about the distribution. So distribution, unique value proposition on your product, build a brand that people can relate with. But what I don't see enough people utilizing is network effects. And one of the great things about network effects, yeah, you need to work hard, you need to think smart, but that's really hard to copy. I'll give you, for example, for network effects that we've seen working and online merchants that can utilize it, I think can set themselves apart. The first one is the viral effect. Now, the idea here, and it relates back to distribution, it's not to have a social share button on your product page, is to bring in the ability to share as part of your product. We all remember the first days of Groupon. They were the fastest growing internet company, not because they came out with something that no one thought about, not because of an amazing product or amazing brand, but because of viral aspect being embedded in the product. We all remember. So you would able to get like a 50% discount for something amazing, but only if 1,000 people registered by the end of the day. So now you're being encouraged to share with your friends. Remember Uber? You got $10 if you shared the Uber with your friend. So everyone shared it.
I forgot about that, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw right now, I came from a conference and there was a great company that created this app that you can easily scan someone's badge and get all the information about it. Guess what's happened the moment I scanned it? They got an email with a link about this app. So if you bake that in, you get distribution as part of that. That's amazing. So I think that's the first network effect that if you can utilize, that's great. The other thing, and speaking about social, and it's so big right now, the social loop of network effects. So if you think not just about consumption, but also about participation, meaning people come to your website, not just to transact, but to share knowledge, to hear knowledge, to talk with like-minded people, they would keep coming. And that's expensive, bringing people in. But at some point, they would transact and buy something. TripAdvisor, nailed it. Okay, people came in for the reviews. They're now selling, competing with Expedia and Booking and everything else. And no budget would be able to compete with them with performance marketing because people keep coming back for that participation part.
I'm just gonna. This is my personal gripe. Their sponsored list, Bob. They have their recommended list, and recommended is hey, everyone's got to make
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
but-
5 out of 10, but
Oh
they
my
gotta-
God,
they gotta pay
I
the
have
rent.
I have to change that to traveler ranked every single time.
Yeah.
But I'm a loyal TripAdvisor
Yeah, yeah.
user. Like I'm looking at going on vacation. That's my first step.
Yeah.
I'm not going to a magazine anymore or
Yeah.
any place else. I'm looking for that sort of.
And if you think about travel
Social proof.
specifically, because in a way, selling a flight ticket or hotel room, that's commodity right now. Everyone sells the same product. Everyone has the same prices. Everyone competes on the same ads on Google. But they generated that viral social loop. It just works. I think the two other things, the third one is pretty rare. I call it the compulsion loop. That's basically a variable reward that keeps you coming back.
So like
So-
cigarettes.
In a way.
No,
in a
I
way,
mean
but,
I'm not. You're
we will
you're
probably
talking
cut
about
that in editing, right? Because we want to
no,
encourage people.
I,
for
no.
Oh.
But what I mean is
The addiction.
It's an addiction.
I agree.
It's you're coming back.
The dopamine
because
shot
the-
from
it's a
Instagram.
dopamine shot.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah, exactly like this. So I think this is why TikTok works great because you constantly see something different. It's a variable reward that surprises you. If you think about casual gaming, that's again, it's always something new. And I think who nailed it in retail is Costco, actually. So you think about
really?
it, they were really innovative. So
yeah,
everyone's coming for the $5 chicken at the end, or for
The hot
the
dog.
paper bags,
Isn't it
But-
the hot dog combo? Like
Yeah,
the
it's like a
$1.50?
dollar.
yeah.
the 750 calories pizza slice. But what happening until you get to that $5 chicken? You see a sauna for 1,500.
Yep.
Surprise! You see a bottle of vodka, a 7-liter bottle. But all those surprises in the beginning, and this is the reason I loved going there. I hate grocery shopping, but I love going to Costco because you have those amazing surprises. You might not need them, but if you are able to bring something new, a new product, a new discount, a new content, that would keep people coming back because of that dopamine shot, and they would purchase eventually.
Well, it's actually really funny. And I'm going to tie this to something that might not sound like it makes sense, but it's called the slot machine effect if you do it with your children. So if you give them a yes sometimes to a question, they will ask for it all the time. Can I go to bed late? If you say yes one time, you'll get that question for the rest of your life.
If I can bring it back to the product angle of things for
Yeah.
e-commerce
Mhm.
customers, I think I always give the example of Tula, which is a skincare brand. And I love what they do because I think they do everything right when it comes to influencer marketing. And the company has been designed from day one with social media in mind. So how can I make a product? How can I make a packaging? How can I make a brand? How can I make a website that can be social media friendly? And so if you go and look at their skincare product, like the product are not like old school package, like, square boxes, like pastel colors, they're like bright, neon blue, like all like shiny metal reflections on everything. It's like super trendy on Instagram. And when they gave packages to creators, it wasn't just a product. It wasn't transactional. It was aspirational, right? The entire package was amazing. So creators were incentivized to actually show more than just the product itself. They would show the experience it was to actually buy and buy into the brand, right?
Definitely.
And I think all of these things, and to just touch up on AI for 1 second, I think basically now, if you're an SMB, you can remove all the time you used to spend to build and maintain your website. Like get the right, stock photo images, like get the right, and you can actually like spend it making the experience around your product so good, right? And I think this is as an entrepreneur, right? Like, and I think anybody that has a position like this, they will know that 95% of your job sucks, right? 95% of what you do is legal, updating your TNCs, like it's stuff nobody wants to do, right? If it comes to you. So with AI, you have as a single guy that has an e-commerce website, you can spend your time doing what you love and the AI can do the rest. How amazing is that? Like you have a team of lawyers, designers, copywriters, like email marketers that do everything for you, and it's one single AI. And to go on value for a second, like the value generated per dollar spent on AI is totally insane.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like compared to the existing value of everything else today, like how much would you spend to launch a really good solid brand for a designer, for the photo, for, you know, the copywriting, for the SEO specialist and stuff? It's like tens of thousands of dollars. I'm sure an AI can do that for a couple $100.
Yeah.
And maybe less, actually. Yeah.
Actually, and the fourth network effect that I wanted to talk about is the one that, you know, when I talked about it 2 years ago, small businesses were like, so what do you want me to do with that? That's only reserved for enterprises.
Right.
And that's the data loop. And that's the ability to make sure that data is constantly updating and optimizing your business, your store, based on real world interaction. So the subsequent customer gets a way better experience than the one before that. So that was, again, reserved for the giant one. Expedia makes most of its money from the ability to understand how to rank the different hotels you're getting when you're looking for a hotel in Washington Square. Now, we have a capability right now on Wix that provides any merchants the ability to show the right people, the right products in the right order at the right time.
That's great.
And that's amazing. That's something that was science fiction for small merchants right now, and that's available.
That's
So,
crazy, yeah.
so just to dig into that a little bit more, the the person who's on the website is maybe doing a search for, taking the example you were talking about, skincare, but because of what you know about me and how I've acted up to that point, you'll know whether to show me the most expensive one that you have. The second, you know, whether you need the one that has hydration, whether you need the one that has, you know, whatever else.
Or maybe because I'm based in a place with a lot of sunlight, I get like the skin
Suntan
protection
lotion
one.
and
Maybe
first,
using
yeah.
that device or versus other device, it says something about you, where you're located right now, what's the time of the year. So the more variables you add to that equation that eventually optimizes for conversion, the more accurate that model could be. And all it needs to do, now it sounds simple. Back in the days, it was science fiction. It just needs to update the coefficients before those variables based on the conversion that you achieve. Right now, you, I, everyone who listens to us can use this magnificent power for their business.
All right. So how science fiction does it get? Like, you know, it knows where I am. When you're looking at something like this, can you see a time where it would know that actually today it's drizzling? So I would offer you a different, like, let's say I'm on a clothing website.
Like a weather
Like,
correlation.
is there a weather correlation that you could potentially imagine going in where it's raining? So the first results you're going to see are rain gear, or it's sunny. So the first results you're going to see are
That's possible today.
that's
What-
possible.
What
today.
you just described. And we can become very technical in this show.
No,
but
let's get technical.
I can say right now, so we have discount capabilities on Wix. Part of it, it's connected to a service plugin. You had to be a coder back in the days to actually utilize this.
Sure.
And you could connect that with an API for a weather company to say, hey, if it's raining right now in New York City, I want the umbrellas to show up first. Two things are happening right now. Both coding, which used to be, again, only for coders, now you can do with various different AI agents. And you can even connect your online store to it. And this is something, by the way, that just happened 2 weeks ago. So we developed what's called MCP. It's basically the ability for AI agents to connect with other software. So now you can get into Claude and say, hey, I want to be able to code my store on Wix to offer discounts when it's raining. And it's actually going to happen.
Oh, wow.
Really.
That's
And this
insane.
is like fresh new off the oven 2 weeks ago.
So in your head, where are we heading? Like, what are some things that we're not even thinking about that could be on the horizon?
Yeah. So I think when we look at the future of e-commerce, and not very distant future, I think that the hyper-personalization that we just talked about is just the beginning. Because I don't think that e-commerce in the future would rely on cookie-cutter static websites. The way we think about websites right now when we foresee the future is websites are going to be more like AI agents. Okay, who knows the context, who knows you very well, because again, you're carrying your phone, you're carrying your AR glasses, you're
Sure.
getting information all the time. And
It
then,
obviously knows the weather.
yeah, and then everything on the site, if you can even call it a site, right? But everything on a site would adapt and in many times created in real time for you and for the use case. So I'm talking about layout, I'm talking about text, I'm talking about visuals. Brands would still be able to fully control the vibe, the design language, guidelines, and the entire experience won't feel like a dry conversation with a chatbot because visuals will take center stage and everything will be adapted in real time. So if I can give you an example, so let's say you're in the market for outdoor speakers, okay? So you could either go for a brand you already know or start your conversation, as many of us are doing right now and more we do in the future, with your favorite AI agent and say, hey, I'm actually in the market for outdoor speakers. And then it may recommend you a brand that you do not know. And then you would either go to that brand's website or to that brand's embedded experience within that chat agent. And then everything is going to be centered around the use case and the context. So you would maybe see the outcome of you having fun with your friends with a beautiful speaker. And then you could maybe swap the different models. And in many cases, it would know that you're about to move and it will ask, hey, can you tell me more about your backyard? And maybe you happen to have a floor plan and you would upload it and it would say, hey, you know what? Actually, to have the best experience, you need one speaker in that corner, one speaker in that. Hey, can we add those two speakers to your cart? You say yes, and that's it. So what we see here is that I think the distance between an intent and you actually having the product and the friction that we are going through, which we think it's pretty okay right now, but I think advancements are going to take us totally further, is going to shrink to nothing. And I think in many cases, the shopping experience would start even before you thought you even have an intent.
Okay, so
That was fascinating.
that
I
is-
just want to say,
yeah, that's completely fascinating. I have a question for you. Do you see a world where we'll have something like an open AI shop, the way that we have a TikTok shop currently? Like, do you see that some of these AI agents could all of a sudden move toward not just, I'm going to give you the recommendation and send you to the site, but I'm going to actually build you your shopping experience and connect to the e-com on the back end?
Yeah. So again, sorry to disappoint you, but that's already happening. We tried, but no one heard about this a few months ago. Now
Yet.
everyone in the tech industry is talking about it. Maybe your follow-up question would be, so why do we even need websites? Because everything is going to be on the chat agent. So I do think that we talked about the fundamentals are not going to change. Brands would still want to have an experience of their own. Some people thought that social will kill websites, but people still want to go to the various websites to experience the brand. They don't want to just be a tile on your chat agent or on your social feed. So it could either be their own website or their embedded experience within your chat agent. But I think pretty quickly, we're going to see more and more adoption of you talking to the chat agent and potentially completing the purchase there, or being transitioned either to the actual domain of the brand or the embedded experience of that brand within the chat agent.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't personally, I've seen being sent to the website. That I see all the time. I haven't yet seen the embedded version, so I'm going to go find myself one of those because that sounds fascinating.
I am looking forward to a world where I don't have to make my Christmas gifts. So if I can tell the AI, make me a Christmas gift basket for like 20 people, that'd be great.
All right, so I've been trying to get to science fiction, and I've been failing. So now let me try one more idea. Okay, so you talked about how the AI is going to allow almost an individualized website experience. To what extent are we then going to see individualized product experiences beyond what we're, almost getting to the level of a bespoke product that can be created by AI in that moment for somebody? And I'm not talking about engraving or some of those types of things, but literally like a brand could basically say, go to town, design this for yourself in this moment.
Yeah, so it really depends, I think, on the complexity of the products, because right now we're stepping outside of software into real world.
I know.
Physics.
Hey, I needed to do that to get to science fiction,
Yeah.
obviously, right?
So let's see. The things that are, I haven't seen it yet, but we could start a business
Maybe
tomorrow,
we could start
do
something.
it, right?
We have an idea.
Is the ability to have, let's say, printed T-shirts. Okay, so drop shipping is available with print on demand, meaning you do not need to have stock of thousands of shirts. A customer can come in and describe something, and then it's going to be generated, printed, sent over to this customer, and I'm talking about days. So I haven't seen it yet, but it's a great idea to start.
We should disrupt the printed materials business.
Actually, I have a great example for that, Paul. There is this company called Pros. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's a customized hair care. And right now, the way they do things is they make your own shampoo that fits your hair. But to actually get you the right shampoo, they have to ask you a bunch of questions. Do you have greasy hair, thin hair, long hair? I think for a company like that in the future, they will just take one picture of their scalp and the AI like this, boom, it will automatically make you the best shampoo.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
you could see
think
the
that's
same
a
thing
pretty
with-
good example.
Or with fragrances, candles.
Yeah.
You could see all of these types
Yeah.
of things potentially.
I think if we take it even further to a little bit science fiction-ish, we tried, we really tried. I think e-commerce is not only going to be limited to the traditional web interfaces we know today. And if you think about when you combine AI with technologies that exist today, they're just not really connecting very well with each other. I'm talking about natural language processing, computer vision, AR, and then tighter collaboration between content providers, retailers, e-commerce platform, and device manufacturers. You could very well be in a situation where you walk down Park Avenue and you see a stylish persona across the street, and you just look at him or her, okay? And then the entire outfit, you're gonna see yourself in it, all the way from shoes to accessories, in a virtual fitting room. By the way, Google did a great job just a week ago with that. And you would say, yeah, I want it. And in 2 hours, you're gonna get it. Or you're gonna watch the Knicks game tonight. Good luck to them.
Let's go Knicks. I need the Knicks. Sorry, that's going to make it dated, but if they lose tonight, I'll be very sad.
Yeah, but imagine you watching the game and you see your favorite player scoring a buzzer beater at the end of the first quarter, and then their shoes are going to come up in your size, and you say, yeah, I want it. You're probably going to get it before the game ends. So there's no reason why we're not going to see it. We just need tighter collaboration between all those technologies that exist, and this is how far we can go, and I don't think this is too far away from now.
Okay, so we started to get into science fiction. Turns out that a lot of the things I thought of as science fiction already in the world, so that's fascinating. Do we have a final thought that we want to end with in terms of the collaboration of AI and e-commerce moving forward?
I think people should not be worried too much about AI and should not complain about AI, because this is where the world is going. I think what they can do right now is understand the different trends, know what's going on, and really leverage that. And I think there's so many different opportunities in the future that did not exist in the past. And I think the future could be bright for online merchants, business owners, and anyone who has a dream and just didn't make the move to make it happen.
So I can't top that. That was exactly kind of what I wanted to say. Right now, David has access to all the tools to beat Goliath. So let's go for it.
All right, everybody, use that slingshot. Well, Oren, it's been a pleasure having you. So this has been Oren Inditzky, GM and VP of online stores at Wix. Thank you so much for joining us today. And Kevin, great to have you as always.
Thank you, Paul.
It was a pleasure. A lot of fun.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ready, Set, Click podcast. Love this episode? Hit the subscribe button, give us a like, or leave a review. Until next time.